What happens when the police enter your home to confiscate property? If they are following proper procedures, they will have the required warrant for the property. When they take it back to the police station, it is logged as evidence, given a control number, and placed in evidence lockup for secure storage. The items can then be used as evidence in a criminal case, or they may be destroyed as either contraband or something that is non-compliant. What happens when they don't have a warrant for those items? The procedure is for them to contact the judge who signed the warrant or the DA's office and have it amended by the judge to include any items that were found which were not included in the original warrant that may be illegal, restricted, unlicensed, etc. What happens when you have items the police like or want? Items that are not included in the warrant. They steal them. Claims based on personal experience, your experience may differ, or not. What happens when the police are too lazy to watch their own body camera footage? In this instance, they got caught. This image is taken from the body-worn camera of one of the New York State troopers to have illegally entered my home. If you look at the item picked up and placed in the rifle case by the trooper, you'll see that it is a magazine for a Remington 5.97 .22 long rifle, which is seen in the case. We'll get back to Deputy Enos right after I tell you how we got there. Let's get into it. On September 25th, 2024, the New York State Police illegally entered our home in Montgomery County, New York. They obtained a warrant and a temporary emergency response and protection order by misinforming a judge, falsely attributing online activities to me. The New York State Police aimed to seize my legally owned, constitutionally protected firearms and arrest me, targeting me as a conservative concealed carry permit holder.
I understand in the climate that we are in, you're entitled to free speech, but some of these things are very concerning. Okay? And some of them are to the point where we're concerned because we know that you have a pistol permit. Yeah. All right? So that's why we're here.
This action aligns with Governor Kathy Hochul's intensified and irrational assault on the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens who reside in New York State. The New York State Police claimed I made online threats against President Biden, Vice President Harris, other government officials, and private citizens based on a file received from the FBI regarding posts made to one of my social media accounts. The FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office stated that while some posts were provocative, they did not constitute threats and were protected under the First Amendment as free speech. The FBI file stated that I had been the victim of multiple online breaches. The credentials for nearly every online account I owned or had ever used were sold on the dark web and used in several online fraud schemes. The FBI file noted that the account in question was accessed from locations across the U.S. and Europe, as indicated by IP address information. These IP addresses came from multiple internet service providers, some within the same region or city. The United States Attorney's Office agreed with the FBI's assessment, confirming that the posts made using my account were constitutionally protected speech. Let that sink in for a moment. Both the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the United States Department of Justice in the Northern District of New York agreed that the posts allegedly made by me via my social media account, while provocative, were not threats, but rather they were the comments of someone exercising the constitutional right of free speech. So then why did they come into my home? Why did they act with such zeal in regard to entering my home and obtaining access to my legally owned and constitutionally protected property that they violated the First, Second, Fourth, and 14th Amendments? Did they really need 8 men in body armor, some with M4 rifles? The answer to all of that is Governor Hochul's Executive Order 19. Through Executive Order 19, Governor Hochul has directed the New York State Police to pursue warrants to enter gun owners' homes. The intent of her order is made clear by the execution of those orders: disarm New Yorkers at all cost. This is covered in some of my other short videos and will be covered at length in a future video, so we won't go too deeply into that part of the story here. What we will go into is how my property was taken by the New York State Police, not accounted for in their inventory, and ultimately disappeared. Do you remember this guy? I referred to him as Deputy Enos. That will do as far as protecting his identity goes. As I showed you earlier, Deputy Enos dropped a magazine on the ground. It belonged to my Remington 5.97 22 long rifle. This is where Enos steps in it.
Here's another one. You probably want to zip it up because there's loose ammo.
Loose ammo? But it was in a magazine. Did I just witness the setup to take my belongings? This seems sus. My dad spent his professional life in law enforcement, so let's give them the benefit of the doubt. For now. The next piece of information that I'm about to show you should solidify in your mind that someone involved in the process of disarming my family decided that they were going to help themselves to our personal property. First, let's look at the New York State Police inventory sheet. Pause if you must. Notice that the last items on lines 4 and 5 are both listed as magazines. Those are for handguns. Notice item 8. There's no magazine listed. There should be at least one based on the video. Now, let's take a look at the ammo. The bag pictured here is the ammunition that was returned to me by the New York State Police. Yes, they returned most of my property already, and I anticipate getting all of it back. That's the next video. This angle shows 2 small bags of 22 long rifle ammunition inside of the evidence bag. They hold approximately 7 rounds each. The New York State Police took 3 22 long rifles. Only one had magazines with it. You saw at least one of them in the video. The other rifles had no magazines with them, and the New York State Police inventory correctly accounted for that. So where did the magazines go? I asked Senior Investigator Wayne Mattice the same question. Here's what he had to say. Mr. O'Connor, Investigator Denny advised me that you had inquired about 2 missing magazines. We conducted a thorough review of all evidence secured that day and found no documentation indicating that the magazines were taken into custody. As standard procedure, when firearms are collected and accompanied by magazines, the magazines are logged in our evidence record. This was done for the handguns that were secured and currently in the possession of the Sheriff's Department. All evidence has been returned to you with the exception of the assault rifle, which was found to be non-compliant. No such thing as an assault rifle. Should you have any further questions, do not hesitate to contact me. At this point, I was having a serious WTF moment. I knew I was missing magazines from the Remington rifle. I was pretty sure I saw Deputy Enos drop a mag from the green case that the Remington is kept in and then replace it. Of course, I had to dig in. I immediately thought that I was being lied to by the New York State Police. Who wouldn't think that after experiencing what I had experienced at their hands? On October 30th, 2024, I was forced to appear in Montgomery County Supreme Court to face accusations from the state that I had made terroristic threats against those mentioned previously in this video. This was more than a month after the New York State Police entered our home, arrested me, confiscated our property, and placed me in a cell, exposing me to human waste for 3 days. The matter was withdrawn by the Office of New York State Attorney General and suspected serial mortgage fraudster Big Tish James, and the request was vacated by the presiding judge. The accusation was, as Big Tish says, baseless. During the proceedings, it was revealed that in coming into our home, the New York State Police not only did not have knowledge of the accusations that they placed in the warrant request, invalidating their warrant, but they also removed items that were neither listed in nor added to the warrant. This is where I first gained an understanding of the misdeeds of the New York State Police. When they entered our home, on September 25th, 2024, they confiscated our legally owned and constitutionally protected firearms. They also took a legally owned ballistic vest and a legally owned knife that I bought at Bass Pro in Utica, New York. In the body camera footage, you can hear lead investigator Mattice claim that they had contacted the DA to add items to the warrant.
John's just calling the DA to see if we have to get a warrant for the other stuff.
Investigator Denny tells a different tale. Question: did you apply for a search warrant to take any of these other items that weren't listed on the search order? Answer: no, sir. Question: did you seek to amend the search order with this court to include additional items that were not originally authorized? Answer: no, sir. Question: why did you take my client's body armor? Answer: I was advised that there was a law where it was illegal to possess that body armor. Question: well, he is charged with unlawful purchase of body armor, correct? Answer: correct. Are you aware of when Mr. O'Connor purchased it? Answer: after. Mr. O'Connor advised me afterwards when he came to get the receipt for his weapons. He advised me that he had purchased it prior to the law taking effect. Question: and that was in July of 2022, correct? Answer: I don't know the exact date. Did you take steps to investigate that claim? I advised him that if he had a receipt, it wouldn't be a problem. Now let's get back to the actual stolen items. Sorry, unaccounted for items. I took a screen grab from the body cam video and dropped it into Photoshop. Photoshop is a great tool for revealing things in images that you cannot easily see. Let me show you. Here is the original screen grab. Here it is with an arrow added to show the magazine location. Here is the screen grab after having been enhanced for visibility. After providing these details to the senior investigator, this was the result. It's small, so I'll read it for you. Mr. O'Connor, I went ahead and bought 2 new magazines for your rifle. With all the red tape we would have to go through, I didn't want to make you wait. I will make contact with you next week and we can set something up to stop by and grab them, or I can run them out to you. Say what? Another moment for contemplation. They don't have my magazines and never did, but they are willing to buy new ones? Say what again? If I'm putting these pieces together correctly, then the New York State Police came into our home illegally, stole our stuff, kidnapped me, and held me for ransom. Let me be clear. When I say they stole our stuff, I'm referring to the illegal confiscation of our property by the New York State Police via a bad warrant. That doesn't include that it appears that someone on the team that came into our home that day actually stole our property from the New York State Police, which they then denied happened, but offered to replace my items anyways out of the goodness of their hearts. More like a tardy attempt at CYA. Upcoming videos include child endangerment by the New York State Police, animal cruelty by the New York State Police, checking mental health after the fact, full details on the bad warrant, and the final legal disposition, guilty of no crime. Thanks for watching this one. I am not a content creator. These videos are made to counter the false media narrative that was created by the New York State Police and local media. I also make them to share what is happening to your rights. Your rights are on the line. I hope I am not the only one fighting for them. Please like, share, and subscribe. Mostly share. Hit the notification bell so you know what's coming next. Head to justinoc.com for more info, or maybe a nice hardwood cutting board, garden obelisk, or a planter. Do not think that this is my opinion of all of those in law enforcement. As I said in the video, my father worked in law enforcement for his entire professional career, and he was highly respected. Those who followed his teachings went on to do good works. There are many like him. They just don't happen to work with the guys who came into my home.